Hey guys, so we are going to teach you rounding to the nearest 10 today. As you can see, I got my Batman shirt on because I am Batman. Obviously, if you're not in my class, if you're not one of my students, Ms. Chapman, Ms. Ford, Mr. Bradley are not going to put out a video about rounding, so this is the video that you need to watch. They are going to be doing other things later, so if you don't see them in a specific video, the way that I'm teaching you is the way that they would have taught you in class. Remember to watch the video as many times as you need, and you can ask questions obviously in the comments, or you can send us an email or a remind message or call us on the number that they gave you, whatever you need. I sure miss you guys, and I hope to see you sooner rather than later. Alright y'all, we are going to try something new here. I'm going to teach a little bit online via the YouTubes. So first we're going to start off by rounding to the nearest 10. Okay, first thing you need to do always whenever you round is start with a vertical number line. Remember, vertical means up and down. Okay, we've used horizontal number lines before. They go side to side. Okay, vertical, up and down. Vertical means up and down. Okay, on a number line, what you always want to do when you're rounding to the nearest 10 is you always want to find your starting point and ending points first. Okay, the first example we're going to start with is let's say 4. Okay, the question is round to the nearest 10 and your number is 4. Okay, so first you're going to start with whatever the lowest 10 is to the bottom. Okay, underneath that's 0. And then the next number, counting by tens, would be 0, 10. Okay, we can all skip count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 0 to 10. Okay, then I want you to find your halfway point. Okay, and draw a line there. Halfway. What's halfway between 0 and 10? Halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. Okay, now on this one specifically, we need to go ahead and fill in all of our other marks just like we would do on a time number line. Okay, 4 marks in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like on a time number line. And now we need to find where 4 is. Well, 4 it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. You plot your point. You make sure to label that 4. Okay. Now the question here is, we're rounding to the nearest 10 and we have 4. Do I need to go up to 10 or down to 0? Okay, I want you to first make a mental note of what you think. Down to 0 or up to 10? Okay, because this is below the 5. Because this is below the 5, we're going to round down on this one. Okay? So when the question is round to the nearest 10 and your number that they give you is 4, 4 is closer to 0 than it is to 10. First, you draw your vertical number line, no matter what the number is. Okay, and this one I'm going to use the number 7. So we're plotting the point of 7, and we're trying to figure out if that's to which point it's closer to, 0 or 10. Find your starting point, 0 in this case. Your ending point, 10. Okay, remember your starting point is the closest 10 that's below that, and then your ending point is the closest 10 that's above that. Then I find my halfway point. Halfway between 0 and 10 would be 5. Then you fill in all your single points in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I know one thing that Engage will have you do is they'll have you label these. You can go ahead and do that. That way you feel comfortable with it, just like you would on a time number line. Then you plot your point at 7. Okay, now is 7 closer to 0 or closer to 10? Well, on this number line you can see just by the space that 7 is above the 5, so it's closer to 10 than it is to 0. Okay, there's a little rhyme that Miss Chapman taught me last year whenever I was doing my first year teaching. The rhyme goes like this: 5 or more raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So if you're over 5, you're going to raise it up to 10. If you're under 5, 4.9 and below, if you're under 5, you're going to let it rest down to 0. Okay, just like if you're shooting a basket, you're shooting it high. If you're taking a rest, you're laying down and going down. And that's our little bitty lesson on round to the nearest 10. If you have any questions, you can email me or Miss Chapman or Mr. Bradley or Miss Ford. Send us a remind message, put a comment on here, whatever you want to do. Make sure you subscribe because we're putting out videos for all of our lessons that have new material. Thanks. Have a great day. All right, y'all. So what we do at the end of every lesson, right, if you can remember way back whenever we were actually in school, what we do at the end of every lesson is we talk about why this is important, why we need to know how to round. Well, rounding creates number sense, okay? And what do I mean by number sense? It means the ability to think about numbers in a way where we don't have to necessarily write everything down, and we don't necessarily have to think about things in exacts, okay? If I said, how old is your dog? Well, if you don't know exactly how old your dog, and a lot of us don't, you can say, well, my dog's about 10 years old. Well, if you know if your dog's kind of an older dog, well, it might be about 10. It might be 9, could be 11, could be 8, okay? But all those are very close to 10. So you could say, my dog's about 10. Now, if you have a newborn puppy, you wouldn't say, my dog is 10. Well, you would say, my dog is maybe 0 or 1, okay? Creating that number sense allows us to see things in the world where we can look at them and know, okay, how many apples are in that bag? Well, I can see 5 in this little area. Maybe there's about 20. There could be 18 in that bag. There could be 25 in that bag. We don't know for sure, but close to 20, okay? Creating number sense really helps you in life to become better at understanding how things in the real world can happen, okay? So the reason why we're doing this today is because we want to create that number sense, and we want you to understand how the world works as far as numbers go. Thanks. Look out for the next video. See ya.